Hey folks, I have here a buck of a lifetime, and I'd like to share the story with you. So, I just got this buck back from the taxidermist. I actually took this buck back in deer season 22-23, so that would have been 2 seasons ago. Let me share the story of how I got this buck. It's not a particularly glorious hunting story, but it's just the way it works sometimes in the deer woods. So there was a few strange things about that morning. It was the first morning of gun season. I had to go see how much hay we had before I went hunting. So it was up in daylight before I even got moving. And another unusual thing about that morning was I was not driving. Usually I'm either driving around the farm by myself or I am driving some other family member around on the farm. Well, that morning, it just so happens that I was riding, and my dad was driving, something that he rarely ever does. And we pulled up into the hayfield, and I had got out of the truck to move a stick that had fallen into the road the night before. And I got out the truck. I left the door open. I moved the stick. I walked in front of the truck. I picked up the branch, about the size of a coffee can, about 6-8 feet long, something like that, if I remember right. And I got it out the road. As I was walking back to the truck, my dad hollers at me, "There he goes." And he's white. And so instead of turning back to look, I continued towards the truck. Had my rifle, just like any other day on the farm. Rifle is up in the cab of the truck. Had the rifle up in the cab of the truck, and I got it out. I come out of the truck with the rifle, and as I was coming out of the truck with the rifle, once I cleared the door, I bolted the gun. That day, I happened to have a bolt-action rifle, which was unusual. Normally, I would have a modern hunting rifle, an AR-15 platform, but that day I had my grandpa's 270, which I've hunted with every season and taken at least one deer with every season since he passed away, which has been nearly 2 decades ago. So I just so happened to have the 270 that day. And as I cleared the truck, I bolted the rifle and I threw the rifle up. So I done all this in a matter of just a second or two. And the buck was a third of the way through the field by the time I got the rifle on him. But I got the rifle on him. I leveled down on him. I pulled the trigger. First shot, I missed him. I shot over top of him. He was running through a fold in the field, and the bullet went over him. I recovered. The second shot, I hit him in the back of the neck, on top of the neck. Spun him around. I knew I hit him. I saw the fur fly. He spun and then continued like he was going. And he went over the hill. So I went up to the top of the hill as fast as I could go. And being that he was white, he stood out like a sore thumb. He ran down into a block of timber on the edge of the field and stopped. Well, when he stopped, I leveled down on him and finished the job. And I started walking down there. Now, mind you, I've never even seen a white deer while I was deer hunting. Never in my entire life have I seen a white buck. And so I walked down there, and I'm standing over this guy right here. Some people would say he's a 6-pointer, but he's got G3s. I say he's an 8-pointer. So I'm standing over this little 8-pointer right here, and he is absolutely probably the most significant deer I've ever taken in my entire life. And I've got some nice ones on the wall, but this one here was just a blessing from the Lord. So I'm standing there completely dumbfounded that I've actually taken this deer. I took one picture of this deer where I shot him, where I finished him off at. And that was it. I didn't take any more pictures, didn't take any pictures with him. I didn't take any videos. This deer is one of the reasons why I started YouTubing, trying to record things that I do while I'm hunting or when I'm just out on the farm or whatever. Because this here's a buck of a lifetime, and I have a single picture, which I could not find this morning. Somewhere on a hard drive or somewhere there is a single picture of this buck, and that's it from that morning. But anyway, so I was dumbfounded. I took one picture and I took him straight back to the house. I caped him out from his toes to his head. I caped the entire deer out because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with him, but I knew I was going to get him mounted. And I really didn't have anywhere for any mount other than shoulder mount, and all my other mounts are either shoulder mounts or European mounts. And of course, a European mount for white deer, there's nothing special about his bones. I mean, even his antlers are just the same as any other brown deer, regular deer. They look the same color and all. So we knew we were going to mount him in some fashion. So we decided to get a shoulder mount, just like all the rest of the bucks that we have on the wall. And he truly is a special buck. I wish I had been able to capture the moment better than I did. But when you do something that you probably will never do again in your lifetime, or it's the first time you've ever done it in your lifetime and probably will never do it again, those moments sometimes get away from you, and you just don't think about recording them. You don't think about at the time, you know it's special, but you just don't think about capturing it. You're living in the moment. And maybe that's something that's wrong with society now. Maybe enough people do not live in the moment. They're too busy wanting to take pictures or videos and capture it. They can't enjoy it. Well, that morning on the farm, I truly enjoyed that morning. Like I said, I never expect to kill another one of these bucks. I've never seen one alive in the wild. That was the first day I've seen one. I've only ever seen two other mounts that were albino bucks. Both of them were spikes. I know some people that have albino does mounted, but even those are rare. You don't see them that often. So I mean, it is really a special trophy, and his meat was just like any. Nothing was wrong with his meat. Once you took his hat off, he was just like any other whitetail. The difference is only skin deep. It's his fur. That's it. In some places, it actually is illegal to take white deer, which is kind of, I don't agree with that, because they are, I hate to even say it this way, but I'm going to say it. They're genetically inferior to the brown deer. Their life is hard. The brown deer reject them right often. Regular deer don't like them around. They run them off. This guy right here but he's a buck, so it's hard to say. This guy right here, he had plenty of scabs and sores on his body. That was probably just from being beat up by the bucks, but I don't know that. But later on, I found out that this guy had been living on a golf course about 5 miles from the farm. Somebody told me that they had been seeing him out there, and either the rut had just started, either he had followed the doe all the way to the farm, or other bucks had run him off to the farm and off the golf course, and he had come over to the farm. But anyway, he is a special trophy, and I praise the Lord that I was allowed by him to have this buck. So anyway, I hope y'all have enjoyed this story about how I got my buck of a lifetime, and I hope y'all come back and visit us at on the channel. Like and subscribe if you would like to. Leave us a comment. Tell me that it's a great trophy. Tell me how mean and hateful of an individual I am for taking such a beautiful animal. I don't care. Either way. So until next time, I hope you all stay safe on the farm, and God bless.